Hello guys, thanks for joining this session. In this lecture, we'll be discussing about z-score and how we can use this to determine the outliers in a data set. And also we will be discussing about interquartile range and how we can use that as well to understand and determine the outliers in a particular distribution of data. So before before getting into the details of everything, let's understand few fundamentals that will help us to basically that will help us going forward. So first thing that we need to know is what exactly is a z-score. So if you put it in simple terms, then it basically shows about how far is a data point away from the mean, right? So if you put it in a more technical way, then it says how many standard deviations above or below the mean a particular data point or a particular value is. So to understand this, we need to let's take a Gaussian or normal distribution curve and discuss few things around it, and then I'll show you an example which will make this definition make this concept more clear. Okay, so this, if you could see here, this is a Gaussian or normal distribution curve. The mid portion or the middle portion of this has the mean of the curve, and the left and right portion are pretty much identical. So the area which is one standard deviation away from the mean covers 68.16% of the whole curve, and then if it's two standard deviations away from the mean, then it covers 95.44%, and three standard deviation covers area of 99.73%. So anything which lies outside the boundary of this portion will be considered as an outlier. So how all of these things relate to a z-score? So we'll try to tie it back and understand how this is in relation with z-score, right? So for that, suppose I'll give you a small example to make it more clear. Suppose we have a distribution of numbers and we want to determine a particular number, what will be its z-score and whether it lies within a particular boundary of those three standard deviations or not. So for that, we need to actually consider a curve which is a standard normal distribution curve, because this curve is pretty much pretty straightforward, right? So if the like it is more of a generalized version of a normal distribution. So if we have something which is one standard deviation, two standard deviation, or three standard deviation away from the curve, then we can use this for this curve. But for our purposes, it won't be the case all the time. So for that, we are using a standard normal distribution curve, which is this one. So this curve has a mean of 0, standard deviation of 1, so how this relates to a z-score is, suppose we have a z-score of 1, that means it's one standard deviation away from the mean. That's what it means. Suppose we have a z-score of 1.7, say, so that means it's 1.7 standard deviations away from the mean. So about all these things, how it is, how can we basically determine the z-score, right? So as I said, like suppose the z-score is 1.7, so how do we determine that? So for that, we will be using this formula and the z-score formula. So here, the x value that you see here is for the point which we are taking from the population to determine whether it's an outlier or whatever, right? What not, whether it is whether it lies above or beyond the boundary of three standard deviation, whatnot. And then mu is the mean of the population, and then sigma is the population standard deviation. So let's take an example so that we could understand how everything is how these things can be implemented and how we can use the z-score. So let's consider we have a class of students, and the mean height of the students is 150 centimeters, and then the standard deviation we have for those students is 10. And then we want to determine that what is the probability of students having a height of greater than 165 centimeters. So this is our problem statement. So let's go and determine the z score z value for this. So the x value we have got is 165, the mean is 150, and then the standard deviation is 10. So our z score will be 1.5. So this means that the z value is 1.5 standard deviations away from the mean, right? That's what we discussed previously, that a z score of 1 means it will be one standard deviation away from the mean. So here our z value is 1.5, which means it's 1.5 standard deviations away from the mean. So this 1.5 standard deviation corresponds to 165 centimeter, right? So now let's calculate the z-score for this, and then we can, in order to determine what's the probability of height greater than 165 centimeters, we need to first calculate the z-score. So for that, we'll be using a z-score table. This is a z-score table that I have just downloaded. And the z value that we got was 1.5. So the corresponding score for that is 9.9332. So what this value means is 93.32% of the region of the curve lies below this particular below this particular point. So that's what the value of this score means. So if we put this in our problem statement, it would signify that 93.32% of the students have a height which is less than 165 centimeters. But our goal is to determine what's the probability of students having height greater than 165 centimeters. So for that, we need to subtract 93.32% from the whole region of the curve, which is 100%. So that would give us a value of 6.68%. So this is basically the percentage of students who have height greater than 165 centimeters. So this is one application that we could use. This is one application of z-score that we could use if we want to determine the probability of a particular data point among the population. And then moving on, we have z-score for one sample. So suppose we want to calculate the z-score for one sample, then we can use this formula. So this is also pretty much similar to the z-score formula for a population. The only difference that we have here is xs is the sample point that we pick from the sample, and then mu s is the sample mean, and then sigma s is the sample standard deviation. So this is the only difference that is there between the population z-score and one sample z-score. So now suppose we have multiple samples and we want to determine the z-score for that. So the formula for that will be shown here. X is the sample mean, mu is the population mean, sigma is the standard deviation, and n is the number of samples. So we have multiple samples, so n will be the number for those multiple samples. So let's take an example. The mean height of students in a class is 150 pounds with standard deviation of 3. What will be the probability of finding a random sample of 60 students with mean weight of 170 pounds, assuming the height is normally distributed? So we already have a population mean, and then we are taking a sample out of the population, and we want to determine what's the probability of a particular mean weight of that sample. What will be the probability that it's right? So for that, we will substitute the value into the formula for the z-score for multiple samples. So the X value, which is the sample mean, is 170, and then the population mean is 150. Sigma, which is the standard deviation we have is 3, and then the sample that we are taking is 60. And substituting the values, we get the Z value of 51.28. So guys, here we need to see couple of things. As we discussed previously, z-score will be varying, will be between three standard deviations, right? It will have a value within three standard deviations. Suppose we have a value above three standard deviation, that means clearly it is an outlier. That's what we discussed above in a standard normal distribution curve. So here our z value is 51.28, which is a very high value, and it's clearly above, it's clearly larger than 3. Obviously, it's pretty larger than 3. So which means that 170, the sample mean, which is 170, is a clear outlier. So we can conclude from this, we can conclude that uh, the probability the probability of the mean weight of the sample being 170 pounds is not true.